So you have your WooCommerce website and you want to run some Facebook ads and connect your Facebook pixel to WooCommerce. But how do you go and connect your Facebook pixel, now known as the Meta Pixel, to your WooCommerce website? Well, it's actually a very easy process and you can use a free plugin to do so. And the best thing about the plugin that I'm about to show you how to set up in today's video is that it has some more advanced features that you might want to integrate into your WooCommerce website that's going to allow you to increase your sales in your WooCommerce store. Now, what's interesting about connecting your Meta Pixel to WooCommerce is that it's a very simple process. And at the start of today's video, I'm going to show you step by step how you can go and set all of this up. But the problem that I see a lot of people face once they've integrated their website with their pixel is that they're not sure whether or not it's working. And so in today's video, I want to show you how to use Facebook's debugging tools so that you can go and do some test transactions on your website, click around your website, open up Facebook, see those events come into Facebook's debugging tool and know that it's all working, so that after you've debugged it and made sure your test events are all working, you can confidently go out and start spending money on your Facebook ads and be confident that you're not going to waste your money by having a misconfigured pixel setup. So with that said, let me show you how to set up the free WooCommerce Facebook Pixel plugin that we're going to use in today's video. In your WordPress dashboard, go to Plugins and then Add New, search for FunnelKit Funnel Builder, and then install and activate this first result here, Funnel Builder for WordPress by FunnelKit. Now, the reason we recommend you install and activate this specific plugin is because it unlocks a lot of potential for you to increase your sales with your WooCommerce store. So I'm going to touch on some of these extra features that this plugin offers you later on in today's video. But for now, I want to specifically focus on setting up our Meta Pixel. So with the plugin installed and activated on your website, you'll see a new menu option here, FunnelKit. And to access our pixel settings, we'll go to our dashboard. And then up here, I'll click on Settings and then to Conversion Tracking, and then Facebook Pixel. And the first thing that we need to input here is our Facebook Pixel ID. To find your Pixel ID for an existing pixel or to create a new pixel, click Learn More. And that will take you to your business manager inside of Facebook. Next, you want to hover on Overview, or alternatively, you could just click down here to expand your sidebar. And from the drop-down, you want to make sure that the business you're trying to connect to your WooCommerce website is currently selected up here. In my example, we have a fictitious business called Pizza. To create our pixel, I'll go Connect Data Sources, and then choose Web, and then Connect. Then name your pixel. In my case, I'll call it My Pizza Store Pixel, and then click Create Pixel. Put in the domain name of your website, and then click Check. Once that's all confirmed, click Next. It's very important that you select Conversions API and Metapixel, which is recommended and selected by default. Then click Next. Select Set Up Manually and click Next. Click Continue. Select all of these options here and then click Continue. Then click Continue, Continue, and then Continue Pixel Setup. Then exit out of this pop-up. And now we have our new pixel here. And under that, we also have our pixel ID. So I'm just going to right click and copy the pixel ID. And then back here in the FunnelKit settings, I will paste that in there. Next, I'm going to go down and click Save. And I'm sure you noticed that on the screen, there are quite a few settings here that we're about to go through, including all the different events that we're going to send back to Facebook, as well as enabling what is called the Conversion API. At this point in the video, I want to show you how you can go into Facebook and see the events that are coming from your website into Facebook. Then once we've done that, we'll come back into here and start enabling these events and see how they come into Facebook from our website. Back here where we set up our pixel and our Facebook Business Manager, under Data Sources, with our pixel selected, if we click on Test Events, this is where we can check our events are received correctly by Facebook. Now, if we go down, we have two different options here. We can test browser events, or we could test server events. Now, the server events is related to when we enable our Conversion API. And that's going to come a little bit later on in today's video. It is extremely important that you understand that section, so definitely stick around for that later on. But for now, we're going to test browser events. So when you're doing this, you want to put in the URL of your website. But in my case, I'll put in the URL of my demo website and I'll click Open Website. Now, what that does is it opens our website in a new tab. But there's actually nothing here that really lets us know what's happening in terms of sending data back to Facebook. And that's because at this stage, we need to install a browser extension that is developed by Meta that allows us to see our data being sent to Facebook. So to do that, go to Google and search for Meta Pixel Helper. And it's this first result here. So if I click on this, it takes me to that extensions page, and then I can click here to add it to my browser and click add extension. And now if I click up to here on my extensions and I click on the pin, we now have this new icon for that extension. So now if we were to come back here to test browser events and click open website, that takes us back to our website and the extension is still gray and it says there's no pixels found on our website. So why is that? That's because we need to enable an event so that it outputs on the front end. So let's start here with a site-wide event of enable page view. So with this selected, I'll go down and click save. Now if we test our browser event, that takes us back to our website, and now you can see that our extension has a bit of life to it. And if we click on it, it lets us know that a pixel was found and that we sent back our page view event. And it's got a green check here, so it means that it was successfully sent into Facebook. And back here in our Facebook Business Manager, we can see that page view event came through successfully. And if we click here, we can see all the information related to that event. And what you'll notice is that the information that we get access to here, for example, the parameters, if we click back into our extension and then expand the event, we have custom parameters. So this is the information that our website is sending back into Facebook for this particular event. That's your custom parameters. Under that, the event info, that is data that Facebook automatically just sends back to itself to help it do what it needs to do. Now, the page view event is going to fire on every single page on your website. So if I go from my home page to my shop page, and we open up the extension, we can see another page view was fired. And if we come back into our test events, we can open this up, and for the page view, we visited our shop page. So that's definitely coming in correctly. So the next two events that I want to look at are the add to cart event and the view content event. So with both of them enabled, let's go down and save. And then on our shop page, I will click into a product. And if we have a look at our extension, we can see 3 events fired. And if we click to see what they are, one of those was our page view event, and another one was our view content event. And if we open this up, these are the custom parameters that get sent for a view content event back to Facebook. So think of the view content event as being about a specific product in your website. So here for the view content, we sent back the name of the category that this product is in. So if it was in multiple categories, we would be sending multiple categories here. We send back the ID of this product in our WooCommerce website. We send back the name of the product, whether it's a simple or variable product, the currency of the product, and other notable things like the price of the product, which are all very important things for you to use inside of Facebook to run your ads more efficiently. So next, let's go ahead and add this into our cart. And in doing so, we can see 4 events fired. And if I click up here, we have the page view and view content again because the page did reload. But then we have the add to cart event. And if we open that up, these are the parameters that are sent back for the add to cart event to Facebook. And if we go into our test events, we can see those events are successfully coming into Facebook. If I expand the view content, we get the URL of that product on our website, the value of that product, the currency, the ID of that product. And if we go to the add to cart, we get the URL of the product, the value, the currency. Now we can see there's 11 parameters sent for the add to cart event. And if we were to count these here, that would add up to 11. The next events that we can enable are for sales pages, opt-in pages, and order bumps. We're going to look at these a little bit later on. But I want to go down to checkout events. And for your WooCommerce website, I would recommend enabling all of these events here. And for your purchase events, enabling them as well. Now, if we scroll down, track steps, this is another setting we're going to look at in just a bit. Under advanced, you have some additional options. For example, you'll want to enable this if you're syncing your product catalog into Facebook. You can click here to learn more about that. I don't currently have that for this store today, so I'm not going to enable that. A couple of other options here. This last setting here, enable advanced matching with the pixel. I would recommend enabling that, and you can click learn more to see what that does and why I recommend you do that. With that done, we can click save. Now, the next setting that we're going to enable is extremely important. But before we do that, we need to understand the two types of ways that your website can send events back to Facebook. With the settings that we've enabled up until this point in the video, we're sending browser events. And what this means is when you create your Facebook ads and then you show your ad to your customer and they click your ad, that request then goes to your web server, then your hosting company loads the website that your ad's trying to load into your customer's browser. The browser sends your Facebook event data back to Facebook. And that's why when we were looking in the browser before, we could use the browser extension to see the events that the browser was sending back to Facebook. But there's a second way that you can send your Facebook events back to Facebook. And the reason that this second method exists is because of some changes that Apple made on iOS 14. And this was around April 2021, and it was in relation to enhanced privacy for users that were using iOS devices. So you could pause the video here and read more about exactly what it's doing. But to summarize, the changes that Apple made in iOS 14 made the browser events less reliable. And that's why a second method was developed to send your events back to Facebook. And that second method is known as server events. So the way that this works is that you have your Facebook ads and you show your ad to your customer. Your customer clicks the link in your ad, and then your web server loads your website in your customer's browser so they can actually see what they're clicking to see. But your server directly sends the events back to Facebook and bypasses having the browser have to send those events. And that's a key point here for server events. It doesn't rely on the browser sending events back to Facebook so you can optimize your ads. Facebook directly connects with your web server and then sends the data back. This overcomes some of the problems that came about from the iOS 14 update. But server events also have another benefit where they can't be affected by things like ad blockers. So for example, here I am on my website and you can see that we have some events coming in here. But if I go ahead and in the browser that I'm using here, if I activate my ad blocker and then I reload the page, now with my ad blocker active, if I click on the pixel here, it says there's no pixel. And so the browser events aren't being sent back to Facebook because the ad blocker is stopping this connection here. Whereas with server events, it doesn't matter if your customers have ad blockers over here because the events are getting sent from your server back to Facebook directly. But at the end of the day, do you want to use one or the other? No, you want to set up both of these. And so here's how it's going to work in your website. You have your Facebook ads, and then you show your ad to your customer, and they click your ad to go to your website, and then your web server sends those browser events back to Facebook. But then it also goes and loads your website in your customer's browser, and then your browser events are also sent back to Facebook. Now, at this point, you probably have two questions. One, how do you set up the server events? I'm about to show you how to do that. But secondly, if we're sending both browser and server events, doesn't that cause things to show twice in our ads account? That's not the case, and this is why. If somebody buys from your website, that would be a purchase event. So your website would send a purchase event from your server back to Facebook. And that purchase event, the name of the event would be purchase, and the event ID could be 123. And the event ID is unique for that specific purchase. Your customer's browser might also send a browser event back to Facebook, but the browser event will have the same name, which will be purchase, and the event ID, which is unique to this purchase, will be the same, 123. So when it gets back to Facebook, Facebook uses a process that it calls deduplication, where it checks the event name, which is purchase, and the event ID, which is 123. And if it finds two of those events with the same name and the same event ID, it drops the server event and keeps the browser event. So by using deduplication, you're not going to risk seeing both those events inside of your ads account and distorting your stats. So back in our FunnelKit settings, let's scroll to the top here, and to enable your server events, you need to enable the conversion API. And as it says in the description here, that is going to allow your web server to send events to Facebook through the conversion API. The next step is to paste our access token into here. To get your access token, go back to your Facebook Business Manager, and again, we're under Events Manager and Data Sources. Then click on your pixel, then go to Settings, and scroll down the page until you see Conversions API. And under Setup Manually, click on Generate Access Token. That will reveal your access token. So if you hover, you can click to copy that to your clipboard, and then here, paste in your access token. Next, if you scroll down a little bit, the next option is to test these server events and make sure they're coming into Facebook correctly. So we're going to enable this and do some testing, but when you go live, you want to make sure you uncheck this box. So to be able to test these server events, we need to get our test event code. And so back here with our pixel selected, let's click on test events, and then let's click on server, and then copy our test code from here and paste that in there. And back in our test events, let's click all so we can see both browser and server at the one time. And I will clear activity so we can see exactly what's happening here with our testing. And then back on our website, we'll go to our home page, go to our shop page, go to our product page, add a product into our cart, and then go to the checkout page. I'll put in my test details here, and then at the bottom, I'll click place order now. And with our test purchase completed, back here under test events, we can see all of those Facebook events that we just fired by going through the checkout process. For example, we visited our homepage, then we went to our shop page, and then we viewed a product page. Then after that, we added to cart, and then we initiated the checkout, added payment info, and then we purchased the product and landed on the thank you page. Now, as we go down the bottom, I want to point out that we are seeing deduplication occur. So here for this page view event, if we open this up and then open this up, the event name was page view and the event ID ended in 37. And then down here, this ended in 37. So because we sent the same event name, which was page view, with the same event ID twice, it deduplicated the server event, which means it ignored it and it only processed the browser event. And as we scroll all the way up through these events, you can see that for each event that we fired into Facebook, deduplication occurred, which is exactly what you want. Now, coming full circle back to what I said at the start of today's video, the reason that we recommend you use the FunnelKit plugin to install your Metapixel is because it not only allows you to go and set up everything that you've seen in today's video, but also the FunnelKit plugin allows you to go and add one-click upsells and downsells during the checkout process and build entire sales funnels, both of which are going to allow you to sell more of your products and make more money in your WooCommerce store. And what I want to do now is show you how the upselling process works in a sales funnel when you use the FunnelKit plugin. And I'll also break down how the Facebook events are sent back to Facebook during each step of the sales funnel. Here in our WordPress dashboard, if we go to FunnelKit and Funnels, I've created a test sales funnel here that has 4 steps. And if we click into it, you can see the format of this sales funnel. So it starts with a sales page and then takes people to a checkout page with an order bump. And once they complete the checkout form, they get taken to an upsell for a beauty pack. If they say no to this, we then take them to a downsell for a makeup brush set. And then finally, they get taken to the thank you page. If we come back to the FunnelKit settings for the Facebook Pixel, you can see that the events that we previously skipped setting up in today's video now come into play. So here, the sales page, we will enable the page view event. The opt-in page events, we're going to look at that a little bit later on. Order bumps, we're going to enable an add to cart event and the WooFunnels bump event. And lastly, if we scroll down under track steps, we will enable to track these custom events for each step in our funnel. This just gives you more data to work with in your Facebook ads account. So I'll go ahead and click save. Then let's open up our landing page and let's go ahead and do a test transaction and see how these events get sent into Facebook. So this being a sales page, if we open this up, we can see we have a page view event, which is exactly what we wanted here for the sales page. We're firing the page view event. And here we can see those events coming into Facebook and being deduplicated. Now, once your customer reads your offer on your sales page and they click to go to your checkout page, if we have a look at the events that have fired, we have an add to cart event, an initiate checkout, a page view, and the custom WooFunnels checkout event, which is what we're expecting for our checkout page. The page view, initiate checkout, add to cart, and add payment info, if I scroll down, would occur when your customer puts in their card details. We're not going to see that event fire in this example because I already have some test details loaded in. But the next type of event we're going to look at is the order bump. So down here, when your customer puts in their details and they're ready to purchase and they're looking for this place order button, you can upsell more of your products to your customers using an order bump, which is what this upsell is here. And these are great because all your customer needs to do to add this into their order is check this box here. And so if we click this, have a look at what happens to the events up here. So currently we have these events, but if we go and add this into our order, we can see 2 events just fired. And if we have a look, they were an add to cart and a WooFunnels bump, which if we have a look under the order bump events, add to cart, WooFunnels bump, when they accept the order bump and add it into their order. And coming back into our events manager, we can see that all of those events have been coming into here as well. For the remainder of this video, let's just monitor the browser events because it cleans up the interface here so we can see what's happening. And as an example, if we open up this last add to cart event, this was for a $15 product. And if we expand this down, it was for lipstick, which is the order bump. Now, if I scroll up, in our cart, we have these two products and the value is $49.95. Keep that in mind for this next step. So when your customer scrolls down and they click to place their order, you take them to the next step in your funnel, which in this case, we've taken them from the checkout step to the first upsell, which is for the beauty pack. So here on this upsell, if I go and have a look at the events that just fired, we have not done anything on this page just yet, but we have a purchase event. And if I open this up, this was for two products, the beauty oil and the lipstick, and the value of it was $49.95. So this is really important to understand. The purchase event does not fire on the page that your customer purchases that product from. It fires on the next step in your funnel. And I'm going to show you some more examples of this now. So here on this first upsell, let's just say we say no to this upsell. And so we said no to the beauty pack, and we've gone to the next step in the funnel, which is a downsell for the makeup brush set. So if we have a look at the events that fired here, there's no purchase event because we said no to the previous step in the funnel. But if we come down here and we accept this upsell and go to the thank you page, we just went from this makeup brush set to the thank you page. And on the thank you page, if we have a look here, we have a purchase event. Again, we didn't purchase anything on the thank you page here. The purchase event here is related to the previous step in the funnel where we said yes to that upsell for the makeup brush set. And if we go and expand this, we can clearly see that this was a purchase event for the makeup brush set for $15. And if we come back to our events manager here, we can see all those events have just come in. And if we have a look at the last purchase event, that was for $15, which was for our makeup brush set. But it fired on our thank you page, as we can see from the URL here. Now, while we're here, that leads me into my next point, where if we come up to here and I just hide everything and only show the standard events, when your customer goes through your sales funnel, you will send multiple purchase events for that one order. So for this one customer, there was 2 different purchase events that came into Facebook. But if we go into our dashboard and go to WooCommerce and then orders and click into this order here and scroll down, we can see that the 2 purchase events that fired into Facebook for this order inside this one WooCommerce order. And so in WooCommerce, there's one order, and in Facebook, there's 2 purchase events. So that is why sometimes your ads manager will show a different number of purchases to the number of orders in your WooCommerce website. And that's just something to be mindful of when you're optimizing your ads. Now, merging all your different orders into the one WooCommerce order is what we recommend. But if you did want to create a new WooCommerce order for each purchase inside of your funnel, you can do that. So to set that up, go into your funnel, and then click on your upsells and then settings. And by default, your upsells and downsells will be merged with the main parent order in WooCommerce, but you can select this option to create a new WooCommerce order for each time somebody purchases during the checkout process in your sales funnel. To round out this video and make sure that you're a MetaPixel expert, the last events that we need to look at are related to the opt-in pages. So here we're going to fire a page view event and a lead event. So I'll go down and click save. And now when you go into FunnelKit and funnels and you create a new funnel, which is a lead funnel, and let's just say we select this one here and import this funnel and call it opt-in funnel and click done. With your opt-in funnel, you'll normally have 2 steps, your opt-in page and your opt-in confirmation. If we preview the opt-in page, you'd be sending traffic to this page with the intention to capture their details, in particular their email address. And on this page, if we have a look at the events, it fired the page view event, which is what we expected. And that's what we can see coming into our events manager. But worth noting with the opt-in page here is that when your user puts in their details here and they click this button, the FunnelKit plugin verifies that this information is in the format that you want that form to be submitted in. So the text here for a name is text and that an email address is actually entered here. And once FunnelKit verifies that this data has been input in the correct format, the form then gets submitted and the lead event fires back to Facebook from this URL. So you can see the current URL up here is /OP/opt-in-2. So if we click this, the form is being validated, it was submitted, and then we get taken from the opt-in page to the opt-in confirmation page. And back in our events manager, we can see that lead came in, and if we have a look at it, the lead event was fired back to Facebook on our opt-in page and not the opt-in confirmation. And the reason that happens like that is because sometimes you don't want to have people complete a form and then go to another URL. Sometimes you just want them to complete the form and then you just show them a success message there on the screen. And by firing the lead event on the page that they complete their form, as you just saw, you have that flexibility. With your Meta Pixel now connected to your WooCommerce website, watch this video here where I show you how to set up your express payment options on your website so that your customers can tap one button on their phone and pay using Apple Pay or Google Pay. It makes the checkout process for your customers so much easier and faster. Definitely watch this video here.